Hello, this is David with CasaTunes, and today I'm going to show you how you can set up a CasaTunes music streamer with a RTI matrix switch. We're going to use the RTI ID 46100 with a CasaTunes CT+3, which is a 3-stream music server. So what you can see here on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, is we've got our CasaTunes X app running, and just to show you here, we have 3 streams. One's called Jack's Music, the second one is Jill's Music, and the last one is the guest music. On the right hand side here, we've got the web app for the AD 46100, which is a 6-zone matrix system with 4 sources, and you can see that we have 6 rooms set up. And so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with a brand new project, and all I'm focused on is audio, since that's the purpose of this video. So let's go off by selecting the processor that we're using, which is an XP3 in this case. And let's go ahead and add our rooms. Okay, now that we've added our rooms, let's add a controller. And for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to add a virtual panel to the global space. So let's go ahead and select the virtual panel. And let's go ahead and add that to the virtual space. Oops. Let me go ahead and rename this. Let me call this Home Virtual Panel. Okay, and now we've got to add the drivers. So there's 2 drivers that we're going to add. The first is going to be the RTI matrix driver. So that's under the system drivers. It's an AD DSP, I think, DSP matrix. As you can see here, the model, the AD 4600, is supported by this driver. So let's go ahead and select that. Now, again, this tutorial is not about how to configure the AD 46100, but you can configure it initially in online mode or offline mode. Since the AD 4600 is online, I'm going to go ahead and select online mode. So what it's doing now is actually going out and scanning for any devices on the network, and hopefully it will find our AD 46100, and it did, so that's good. And now it's retrieving the configuration from that. Okay, and so let's go ahead and add our second driver. So this is going to be the CasaTunes driver. And I'm going to be using the version 5 driver. This driver includes the ability to auto-discover CasaTunes music servers on the network and pre-populate all the driver properties that you need to set up. So once you select the CasaTunes music server that you want to use, all the driver properties are set up automatically for you. So there's really nothing to do in the driver property setup unless you want to customize it. Okay, now since we are adding a streamer, let's go ahead and add our 3 streams. And I'm adding these streams to the global space because I want to be able to use these 3 streams in any of my rooms. Okay, so now let's close the workspace. We'll come back to it in a little bit, but let's go ahead and configure our drivers. So for the weather, I just need to set up our zip code. And now for the RTI AD DSP drivers, what I need to do is go ahead and select how many of each different type of matrices I'm using. So in this case, I'm only using the AD 4600, and we're going to use the one that it found. And so let's go ahead and select it. Okay, and so as you can see, it's pre-populated all the driver properties, which is very nice. And similarly, when we go to the CasaTunes driver, you'll see here that there are no CasaTunes music service has been discovered yet. So I can either click on this checkbox, or I can go ahead and just say discover and sync CasaTunes. Now this could take a little bit of time, but basically what's happening is it's going out on the network, discovering all the CasaTunes music servers, and then it will select the default music server if there's more than one. So you can see in my case, I have a network here that actually has 4 different music servers. And by default, it's going to select Casa Server as the default, but that's not the one that we want to use in this example, in this demo. So we actually want to use Casa Server 2. So here we can go ahead and select the different music server. So we select Casa Server 2. And now it's going to go out and rediscover all the properties for Casa Server 2. Okay, so as you can see here, it's now configured us in streamer mode, which is what our music server was set up as. We have 3 streams, and these are the names of the streams that we have: Jack's Music, Jill's Music, and Guest Music. It also identifies all the music services that have been set up. This is actually not typically used when you use the typical templates that come, like the RTI music template or the media player template. It doesn't require this information. This information is only here if you want to create a custom UI and you want to add buttons that navigate directly into different music services. So again, this information is typically not used. But if you are using this information and you do add new music services, then you just need to discover and sync CasaTunes for them to get updated. So let's go ahead and finish configuring our rooms. So you can see here we've got we defined our rooms, but we haven't linked the outputs of the RTI matrix to each room. So let's take zone 1 and put it in the kitchen. And then we'll assign living room to living room. Set up the master bedroom. Set up the guest room. And set up the office. Okay, good. All right, so now we have set up now we have configured our rooms and tied them to the matrix. The next step is for us to manage the activities for each room. So if we select the kitchen, we can see that there are the following activities defined for the room. And what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and, since we're only focused on the audio right now, I'm going to remove any activity that's not audio related or is audio related but doesn't have any impacts on the controllers. So I'm going to remove the weather. I'm going to remove this RTI ID DSP matrix. There's no UI for that. And I'm also going to remove this zone. Now the other thing is our activities are called player 1, player 2, player 3. That really doesn't really tell you very much. So let's go ahead instead and call this Jack's Music, because player 1 that's connected, the stream 1 is actually Jack's Music. The names don't have to be exact. They're not used in any way programmatically like this. So we have Jill's Music. These are the names that are going to appear for the activity in the controller. And Guest Music. Okay, so now that we've defined the 3 activities that we want and we've named them appropriately, the next thing we need to do is we need to set up our events for each activity. So in the case of selecting Jack's Music, so when I want to listen to the stream, which is which is coming from the CasaTunes streamer, which is stream 1, which is also called Jack's Music in the CasaTunes music player. But when I want to listen to that stream in the kitchen, what is it that I have to do? Well, typically when we first select that we want to listen to Jack's music, there's various events that are raised, and typically what you would do for a matrix is you would set up the audio on. So in the audio on, you would power on that room. But in this case, because we are using an RTI ID 46100, instead of turning on the room through a discrete command, you actually turn on the room by selecting a source for that room. And when you no longer want that room powered on, you set the source to off. So we can do that, and the best place to do that is in the activity selected. And in order to do that, we now need to navigate the different functions that are available in the RTI ADSP driver. And the commands that we want to use are part of this zone group context commands. And it's beyond the scope of this tutorial why you want to use these. But basically, we want to go ahead and select a source. So when the activity is selected, what we're going to do is we're going to set zone 1 to player 1, which not only sets player 1 as the source for the zone, but it actually also turns on the zone if the zone was off. Okay, the next thing we have to do is we have to tell CasaTunes that we are selecting, that we want to select its stream, which is the first stream. And the way we do that is we want to actually use the change selected source player stream, and we select the source stream by name. So let's go ahead and do that. And since it is the first one, it's going to pick up Jack's music, so that's good. But in addition to that so if the stream was paused when we select the stream, we also want it to start playing. So the other thing we need to do is we need to set a transport command and select play. Now, this is going to make sure that when we select Jack's music in the kitchen, these things are turned on, but we also need to worry about turning things off. So that comes under the deselection events. And again, normally what you would do is when there's an audio off is when you would turn that zone off. So let's go ahead and turn the audio off, and we do that by selecting the RTI source selection. And here you can see, instead of selecting player 1, we actually select off. And this has the effect of this turns off the zone that we were listening to. Now, in addition to that, one of the things in Integration Designer is the system manager. And what the system manager is doing is it's keeping track for us of all the rooms that are powered on and all the sources that are selected for the powered on zones. And when the last zone that is using a source is powered off, it's going to raise this power off source event. And so we can use that to basically turn off our streamer, because we don't want to keep playing indefinitely when nobody's listening to music from that stream. So this is an opportunity for us to pause the stream. So once again, we're going to go to the CasaTunes change selected source player stream. And the first thing we do is we select Jack's music, and then we select the pause command. Okay, so we've set up Jack's music activity. Let's go ahead and set up Jill's music activity. And so this is going to be similar. So when the activity is selected, we're going to set the source for that zone now to be player 2. And when the activity is ready, we're going to select the source by stream name, but this time it's going to be Jill's music, and we're going to go ahead and play. Okay, and again, notice that the audio off is already set up, but we do need to set up the power off source. So again, what we're going to do here is we're going to select the CasaTunes stream, and that's going to be Jill's music, and then we're going to go ahead and pause that when we're done. Okay, and finally, let's just finish off player 3. It's the same set of commands, but this time we're going to select player 3, And in the activity ready, we're going to select the guest music, and we're going to play that. And then in the power off source, we're going to select the CasaTunes, and it's going to be the guest music, and we're going to go ahead and pause that. Okay, so we have completed setting up the activities for the kitchen. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up the activities for all the other rooms, and then I will come back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and set up all the other rooms, configured all the other rooms, and I want to show you another helpful trick that you can use to verify your programming. So if you go ahead and select the global, and then select room and activity events, this provides a summary of all the events that you have programmed. So in the activity start, we haven't set anything, but in the room power events, we haven't done anything. In the audio events, we programmed the audio off. So this is where the matrix turns the room off. And so we can quickly go through each one of these and make sure that it's programmed correctly. And similarly, we can do that for example, the source power events. And notice here that these events actually programmed the global space, and that's why we don't have to replicate these in every single room. But you see here, this is where we're pausing the streamer. So if it's the first streamer, we're pausing Jack's music, Jill's music, and guest music. In the activity selection events, this is where we were setting up the matrix to switch to turn on and switch to the correct room. And you can see here, we're selecting player 1 in the kitchen, player 2 in the kitchen, player 3 in the kitchen, all the way down, and you can check every one of these. So it's player 1 in the office, player 2 in the office, player 3 in the office. And the activity ready events, again, you can look at these. And one thing that you'll notice here, for example, when you're programming the streamer, is that the kitchen player 1 event is the same as the living room player 1 event, which is the same as the dining room player 1 event. So what you can do is when you actually set up the kitchen, you can just copy these and paste them in each of the other rooms. And same thing for player 2 and player 3. And that actually is a much quicker way than having to go between selecting the room and setting up your events. And let's see what else we got. Room off completion events, we don't have anything there. So that's it. So this is just a great way to quickly verify that your programming is correct. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is we need to program the home page. Now the home page is a little bit different. You'll notice that the home page, nothing is auto tagged, okay? Whereas if I go to a page where we know that we're using player 1, everything is auto tagged, okay? If we go to player 2, everything is auto tagged. We go to player 3, everything is auto tagged. But in the home page, it's not auto tagged. So what we need to do here is we need to set up these auto tags. Now, when we program the activities and we set the activity selected, we're telling the controller what stream we're using. So we do that by setting the selected source. So if we program these tags here using the selected source, then this information will be auto tagged. We'll get tagged and display the current streamer for the selected room. So the way to do this is we go to the now playing, this little panel over here, but notice that it's locked, so we got to unlock it first of all so we can edit it. And we go ahead and select these all the different items that need to get resolved. So what we're going to do here is so this is with a variable. So for this source, we're going to select the image, and we do that by going to the CasaTunes driver, and for the selected source or player, we want to select the cover art. So that's going to link us to the cover art for the selected source. Then we want to go ahead and set up the metadata. And again, we're going to get this text from our selected source player, and it's going to be metadata line 0. We'll go ahead and program the second one. And this is going to be metadata line 2. And the third one is going to be metadata line 2. Okay. Now, the progress bar is, there's really two things here. One is it visible? And if it's visible, what's the value? Okay, so the visibility, we have a show progress indicator. So we'll find that option here. So the show progress indicator, so we'll go ahead and select that. And then the value here will be the selected source player progress. Okay. All right, now for our transport buttons, what we need to do is decide whether they're visible, so we need to do that with a variable, and then we need to program the action to take. So first of all, let's just do the visibility for these things. So we're going to show the previous button. Okay, so now for the macro, what I want to do is I want to get the transport, and I want to go to the previous track for the selected source stream. Okay, let's pick the next button. And this one, CasaTunes doesn't actually support fast rewind, so we'll just set the visibility to show fast rewind here, or fast rewind, yeah. And we'll just set that, and there's nothing else to do because there is no command for this. Next one is the pause button. Now this one's a little bit different because not only do we want to be able to decide whether pause should be shown or not, and we want to take an action when the pause button is hit, but we also want to show whether we're in the pause state. So to highlight that we're in the pause state, we're going to reverse it. So first of all, visibility, we just want to show pause button. Okay. And then the reverse state here is whether we're in the paused state. And then the action to take when we want to pause is we're just going to issue the pause command. And we do the same thing for the play. So we can go ahead and set the play command here. And then in the variable, we've got the visibility. So whether show the play button, and then we want to highlight it when we're in the playing state. And similarly for the stop, we'll show the stop button. We'll highlight it when we're in the stop state, and we want to issue the stop command. The fast forward is another one that we don't actually have. So let's go to just set the variable, and we're going to set the visibility state to fast forward, which is always false. And then the next, so we show the next button, and the command we're going to issue is going to be next. Okay, and then that completes our programming. So the next thing we want to do is just test this out. Okay, then let's go ahead and program. Let that warm up, and what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and show, go ahead and close this, because I want to show what's going on the music server itself. Okay, so unfortunately this does not auto refresh. The RTI webpage doesn't necessarily auto refresh. So you can see here our streams are all off, and all our zones are off. So let's go ahead back to the kitchen here, and let's pick Jack's music. Okay, so you see that Jack's music went from a pause state to the play state. And if we refresh the RTI webpage, you can see that the kitchen is now set up. And let's just go ahead and pick different rooms and pick different players. So I picked Jack's music for the kitchen, I picked Jill's music for the living room, and I picked guest music for the dining room. And what I actually like to show you is, let me go ahead and also select the master bedroom, and I'm going to pick Jack's music. So now we have 2 rooms that are using player 1. Okay, we've got the master bedroom's using it eventually, and the kitchen. Okay, and so now if I turn off the kitchen, you'll see that Jack's music is still continuing to play because it's still being used in the master bedroom. But then if I go to the master bedroom and I turn off that room, okay, what you'll notice is that Jack music gets paused. And that's, of course, what we expected. So this is an overview of how to add a CasaTunes music server as a streamer in an RTI environment with a third-party matrix. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, please contact us at support@casatunes.com. Thank you.